drafting phase, and I kind of feel like we saw a surprise with the Masha. ATM, do you have a surprise that will make Sanford go, ah? Okay, maybe I shouldn't have ended there. We're going into the draft of game number 2. We're going to see Burning Splash. Are you going to opt for the first pick or the second pick? Thank you very much, Atlas, for pulling off the screen. Pulling in.
Time to drop
screen. Burning Splash taking that first pick again, betting out the Fuzon, the Kaja, as well as the Joy. Echo. Again, same team, no different, same.
I would assume that Burning Splash is going to pick up the Frederick. Time and time again, they did this, and it worked out. So this is probably one of the main reasons that they are able to hold their ground.
So just switching around the jungler matchup. Cartesian is like, Lancelot's open, great, I'm gonna get it. Chama's like, okay, let's try the Fredrin. Again, the Fredrin is a big Chad. And we know big Chads, they don't stay in one lane. They can do whatever they want. They can be a jungler, they can be an XP laner.
Yeah, they can just go wherever they want, take whatever they want, and honestly, most people just let them do it for the most part of it, right?
Some even say please.
Some even beg for it. It's crazy. But again, we're seeing that the Valentino falls into the hands of Echo, and that already puts a couple of questions in my mind. What does Burn X Flash have to actually adapt it? Do you deny good ultimates away from the Valentina, or are you hoping to kind of shut down Sanji by, I don't know, trying to get some kind of gold lane priority, force out the Beatrix early on, make Benecutie go back onto the Harith once more, and then look to set up for another fight with a Minotaur? That could be one way that they can look for it.
Horology is my name.
What's
Interesting.
Hold on a second.
Okay, this is interesting because I thought that maybe Burn X Flash would want to pick up something like the Kufra, which is a power pick for D7, but they go the completely opposite direction. They go for anti-CC instead. The Eve is going to accompany that, and Echo just really fast response here with the Claude to deal with that back line.
Okay, looking at the Claude pick, I'm smelling Leslie as well as Carrie to get banned. Don't ask me how they smell, like it's just one of those things, right? Now, Burning Splash, now that they have the Diggy, now they have the Eve, honestly quite a good artillery kind of setup. Are they looking to play the Beatrix again?
This land is our homeland.
Let me think about this. I think that would probably
or Brody.
Or the Brody. I think even the Brody, it really depends on what Donut is feeling in particular, right? Because Echo, it's clear to see that they want to make sure that they can get rid of Leslie. They've seen how Donut has performed on it. They also banned the Beatrix, so they also care about the priority as well. It's not just for the fact that true damage is going to be key to winning this game, but also the overall length and range that you can work with. So as of yet, right, we see that the Valentina has 2 big ticket ults that they could potentially steal. And Burn X Flash probably don't care which one they take, because at the end of the day, it's all about ramming their head against the wall and see how many picks they can get before disengaging once more.
So far, Arlet's been left open. Oh no, Arlet is banned. That's why we haven't seen them. I don't know, does Burn X Flash want to commit onto Edward
when the body
with the
suffers?
bans? They do, he does, they do.
Oh, well, okay, so far Beretta as well as Zalapu is banned out. Now Sanford, looking into the situation, I kind of feel like he has still a lot in his pocket. I wonder if it's going to be boring to pick up the Uranus. Honestly, it's a hero that Gideon doesn't like. If I'm Sanford, I almost want to say, let me be the last pick. Let me see where this Fredrin is going, and then I'll make a decision.
You know, Grok's still open.
That's true. I really can't think of anything else that is currently available that...
There is not, but the Diggy is there, right?
Yeah. I feel like Terizla, like, you're hoping for a good lane matchup, but you're technically going at it blind. If you want to play safe, I think Rock is still good. At least you might be able to make something out. Now, Paquito.
Punching a bird.
Punching a bird. This is, I don't know. I don't feel 100% comfortable with this, because generally, I don't want Peter to, come down at me. But I also think that having the kill pressure gives a new aspect to this game, right? It now opens up a couple of opportunities to really start threatening the back line.
Okay, so now that you see, honestly, I kind of feel like Echo, they're just jumping in, right? Valentina double dashing in, the Claude blazing duet into the domain in Burn X Flash. And now we're thinking this is going to be Sanford on Paquito doing quite a lot of burst damage. I kind of feel like Echo, if no one's going to stop them, they're just going to rush into Burn X Flash, and I don't know what they can do to stop it.
Honestly, in the first, before that Paquito was picked, Bane! Wait, Bane?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's a Frederick EXP.
So Deadly Catch pushed them away because I was thinking like, how are they gonna stop the movements coming in? So they're like, fish.
Big fish.
Fish is the key.
Yeah.
Remember how I said shark in the sea?
Foreshadowing.
Aren't they dolphins? Is the Deadly Catch not dolphins?
Hey, yo, what do you
Dolphins?
what do you play Minecraft or something? Like, what this is Mobile
Is
Legends.
it not
Come on,
dolphins?
like, come on.
No, seriously.
They're not.
Okay.
Oh.
How did they
Total recall. Fun fact. Currently, Echo has used a total of 921 recalls. This MSC 2023, only 67 recalls were successful. I see the Matilda pick, but let me just say, the amount of budget that we have, that we employ one person to look at all the total recalls of every single team individually is outstanding. Now let's talk about the Matilda.
Can you imagine that we don't have the technology to actually find out how much recall they actually have? We have counted someone with a counter just...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's manual.
You know, I like it, kind of. The Matilda, right? Because I understand, right? Echo are very melee oriented with like the draft that they have. They want to dive in. The problem is Bane's ultimate is going to be a deterrent towards that engage. And so the Matilda should be able to, you know, fly them out of that sticky situation.
Here's the thing, Matilda is a very strong early game hero, can dive in, can dive out of the situation. We gotta go into the game, dive into the game.
Let's dive, like LaFell mentioned, into the land of dawn we go. Game number 2 between Burn X Flash and Echo.
All right, to kick things off, right, as LaFell mentioned before, I totally agree with him. The fact that Burn X Flash now have an insurance policy. If things go wrong, they don't just have to imagine the Diggy protecting himself, but also with the Deadly Catch. And, oh, Carl Teasy, what a flex here. Look at that. The Bren M2 World Championship skin?
Spicy, 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 flexing a little bit here. I think maybe his ego got hurt a little bit, you know, from the interview beforehand.
I mean, that's probably one of the cases, but I can't help but feel that, you know, even for Carl Teasy, maybe he shouldn't have ego checked against ONIC that many times. However, I am very curious about this, you know, bottom side of the map, right? When we're looking at the EXP Paquito into this Fredrin, it is the most boring lane ever because you're not going to really get, if it's played perfectly, Sanford isn't really going to get too far with this. He really has to force a mistake out of ATM in this early laning phase.
Donut and D7, the both of them are dealing with quite an adversary at the top lane with Yawi and Kaltizi. Echo, after all, is a very early game setup, and they have a lot of ways that they can really deal with this Brody. They are strong in the early game, and I would assume that they would want the snowball.
So far, oh, Kaltizi going a little bit aggressive here.
Doesn't seem like it's going to amount to much though. A little bit of poke here and there, but at least now we know that Donut, his EXP, is not looking as well as what Benny Cutie has.
Yeah, I mean, overall, at the end of the day, I think for Benny Cutie, he's just focusing on clearing these waves. And even though Echo recognized that maybe we won't be able to have as much kill pressure and force priority whenever we want to, at the very least, what we do actually have that works for us is ultimates that not necessarily benefits the entire world, but enough to focus on a one person, right? You need to be able to get D7 all down.
And Benny Cutie realizes that, you know, he doesn't have a lot of health to work with. He might as well just blazing duet the entire creep wave and eventually head back home. But in the meantime, the main thing is Echo, doing all of that, manages to take the turtle down.
Yeah, still staying very objective right now, able to get the turtle once again, like we saw in the previous game. And it's interesting, right? Because we haven't seen the Matilda in a very long time. When we see Matilda, we instantly think about V. Is this hero suited towards somebody like Yawi?
I think if we talk about Matilda, there's one thing that you have to be very, very good at, and that's communication, right? Because you can't expect your teammates to always be consistently looking out for your position or seeing the markers on their UI, right? At the end of the day, it's all about how does Yawi communicate with the rest of the team so they can pull themselves in and out of these tough spots, or better yet, set up for those very big dives. Because at least when you have those guiding winds, you're kind of able to dive on towards your opponents in these sticky situations to cancel out good abilities and put people who have a lot of kill pressure against someone who's squishy, D7, or maybe in this case, even Donut if he walks up too far.
I agree with that, right? I agree with that statement, especially Matilda has a circle.
Oh! First blood goes to the hands of Kaltizi, and that is not good at all. I mean, we're talking about Digi.
Yeah, it's he's gonna have to start restacking all over again. He's going for the impure rage. You know that he wants to build damage. You know that he wants to just farm auto alarm bombs.
Yeah, I really wanted to talk about this Diggy, right? Because that's exactly the person I wanted to, bridge it onto. Matilda Airlines has a circling eagle, should be able to, like you mentioned, go for those priority picks on the side of Burnex Flash. But how does that fare with the fact that D7 does have that anti-CC to cancel all that out?
I mean, it sounds like a good idea, but imagine if Samford actually gets ahead in this lane, right? Maybe he has 3 items, I would assume. Maybe even 2 items isn't too bad. Matilda Airlines pulls him in, and we play out the situation. Samford has closed the distance against someone like a Diggy who doesn't have the base. Oh, wait, this is actually getting really close.
Oh, ATM is not exactly in a very nice position as we have 4 people surrounding him. Sanji immediately pops off with the time journey, and that allowed the rest of the members from the Echo just continue advancing forward. They took the turtle, they didn't get any kills just yet, and I don't think that they will want to force the advantage onto ATM.
Huh, interesting. I would have imagined that Burnex Flash would have completely let go of that. The fact that they actually postured for it, rather interesting, because they're digging as well as for Donut. We're still on the top side of the map, so generally these neutrals probably wouldn't have happened.
And now in the middle lane, Sanji and both Yaoi's HP doesn't look too good. That was a 3 versus 4, technically speaking.
Just shows you just the level of power that Donut has in his hands right now, right? He's already got his 1 item power spike in that BOD. I'm not seeing any pairs of pants being built on anybody from the side of Echo just yet.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage in the early game for Donut, and that's what you expect from a Brody, right? You want him to be able to farm up as fast as he can in this early game, look for more objectives in terms of towers perhaps, but despite that, right? Despite what we want, it doesn't seem... Oh, wait a minute, Yaoi!
Yaoi's gonna be going down by the hands of Donut because of the torn apart memory. But unfortunately, he's gonna be traded out. Seacat joins into the fray, brings Sanji down, and that is a... What kind of trade is that? Is that good? Is that bad?
Honestly, it's pretty terrible trade for the side of Echo's side, right? Because again, ATM is going to continue just holding this lane hostage against Samford, who's honestly making no leeway. He's got the combo points now. He doesn't have his ultimate, thankfully, but Samford is getting dangerously low.
I don't think that either one is going to go down unless ATM actually overextends, but that forces Sanford to work onto the flicker. ATM even still has the flicker, so if he wants to go back in, technically he can. Oh, the execution and did not clip onto ATM. What a waste.
This is interesting. Echo doesn't feel like
Echo.
they're playing like Echo.
Right.
It's a little bit uncharacteristic of these players so far with the way things have panned out in the first 6 minutes of the game. Burnex Flash now going against the next objective.
As now the Deadly Cash forces its way through Echo. Kaltizi has only got one thing in sight, and that is the turtle.
Do you like how my curse works?
What?
Right? I was like, Echo's not playing
Like
Echo, and then Carl Peasy gets the turtle.
I don't know how many of those you still have in you because you're going to have to do it a lot if Burnex Flash is going to be playing like the way they are. They're trading well against a team like Echo, and that's what I like to see when you're playing it against them, right? You can't let Echo get away with everything. You need to make them fight for every bit of space that they take.
I feel like Eterna is really just trying to get herself back in the hearts of the Filipinos, right? You know, we're still
What did I do?
I mean, you know, just leave it be. Just Burnex Flash, we chose Burnex Flash, we kept to the Burnex Flash.
Whoa.
But speaking of Burnex Flash, that was actually pretty darn good onto Kaltizi. They almost caught him out. But unfortunately, it is a last blood after all. It does have the Phantom Execution. Getting away is just that easy.
You know, I want to talk about this, right? I want to talk about Carl Teasy, his Phantom Executions and all that, right? Because when it comes to the neutral objective takes, Chama has done quite a good job so far, right? Because he's able to use that ultimate, that deadly catch to be able to just stave off the members of Echo. But it seems like that's not a big deterrent for them.
No, I mean, Carl Teasy, he's got iframes to work with. And let's also not forget that deadly catch is rather slow in terms of a quote-unquote projectile speed. ATM, though,
He's holding the ground. He's holding his ground pretty darn well. D7, oh boy, you are not gonna go back home. ATM is going to be holding up to the front against 4 other person, and he's not going down just yet. He can immediately drop the RWN, clears out the entire creep wave, and they only lost the D7. I think that's not so bad, unless Echo goes in like that, unless they immediately jump on and collapses onto Shama.
Yeah, 3 members taken down on the side of Burn X Flash. Echo now just really picking up the pace. Meanwhile, Benny Cutie having just the time of his life in the top side. Farming, getting more objectives on the board here for Echo. And it feels like that's just the constant storyline for Echo. Benny Cutie just really focused on that.
Yeah, personally, I just like the fact I would love to be in Samford's shoes because he's just kind of existing right now. He's not, he doesn't need to do anything too crazy. He just needs to clean up the fight after all the abilities are out, because prior to that, he's just looking for flanks. But until he is unlocked from his lane, which they finally do after cracking both tier 1s, now he can start looking for these angles. Now he can really start hunting for D7 and Donut.
As C-Cat pops off the RWM, the Deadly Catch appears and clips onto Sanji. The first person taken down, but Samford joins in from behind. He wanted to bring Shima down, but I don't think that it's going to be that easy. But certainly Evil Eagle connects, but Kaldizi is going to be the one to bring down the Lord. As such, that is going to be Echo, with the first Lord of the game marching right in. Unfortunately, Echo lost too.
Yeah, Burn X Flash, they're angry right now. They're looking for any trades that they can do on the map. The fact that they lost the Lord isn't too surprising, realizing that Chima is a level below of Carl TZ right now. But if they keep trading like this, if Echo keeps getting the objectives, but they lose the team fights, this is looking a little deja vu for me.
I agree. It is starting to look a little deja vu. The question is, how do they close out the game, especially with the high ground heroes that we see from the side of Burn X Flash? Like, Eve is going to be absolutely great at clearing out these waves, and the same can also be said for the fact that they have, I mean, Donut may not be the best, but at least when it comes down to single targets like Lord, he can actually hurt. Everybody else is kind of just there to exist.
Everyone congregates in the middle lane. They want to bring down this first tier defense turret. ATM is doing his absolute best to defend it all. Kaltizi, he's poking in. Sanji, he's not poking, he goes in with a deadly intent.
Man, Echo just doing the Echo special. No, the Filipino special, right? The fact that they're able to play around these buffs really, really well, just depriving Chima of anything he can grasp his hands on. Still a 4,000 gold lead. Doesn't seem like they have much to say about this because, you know, they committed onto Donut. Donut on the Brody.
Yep, and they're going to continue doing so, right? I mean, look at this. ATM, he's going to walk up, he's going to basically get chunked.
He's not going to survive all of that. Echo, they are fast, and they are a team with a lot of damage. Let's be honest here. Even though ATM did manage to survive in the bottom lane and just holding the lane for damn long, Echo does have a 5,000 gold lead, and this is the point in time where they are getting their power spikes.
Yeah, because of that gold lead, we see that Carl TZ actually opts for Endless Battle. What does that mean?
Yep, it means that he knows that he has a lead. He knows that he can threaten the backline, especially for Donut. He's got iframes to work with to make sure that the corrosive strike, when he tries to go for that stun, good luck. As long as I have my Thorn Rose, I can make something happen. He's got a lot of kill threat, and that's the important thing, right? Because if we're looking in terms of quote-unquote damage, Bane, he's going for pretty much, he has the War Axe. That's probably the only damage item he's going to go for, but he's generally trying to go for Brute Force Breastplate, and as well as the Athena Shield to rather survive the onslaught coming at him. That's why when you first saw the initial interaction when Samford was looking to flank, double punches Shima, he barely felt it, and he was like, you know what, I don't want to mess with this.
The entire team of Echo, they want to steal away the purple buff. Did they manage it to? No. Unfortunately, they couldn't. Shima took the turtle away. Took the purple buff away. Grand Theft Purple, not quite working out, but at least they have the priority over the Lord, which will be coming out in 12 seconds in.
But you know, now that I think about it, right? Sure, right? Donut doesn't scale as well, right? But they do still have D7 and C-Cat to kind of fall onto, right? Because in the later stages of the game, they are going to try to use Diggy to not just open up information, but try and utilize those bombs and those stacks to be able to just, you know, chunk Echo a little bit slower. But what is this?
Yep, holding them hostage.
C-Cat's not in the fight, he's slowly walking in, but holding him hostage, yeah, because the wave is just eventually going to crash in. And Echo, you're waiting for the perfect prime time.
Oh!
How did he do that? Echo now is at the beckoning of Burn X Flash, and now Yaoi has to run away after being caught within the RWM. Donut takes the kill, Lord fights for them. Moving on in the northern side.
That trigger discipline that we have been waiting for. Burn X Flash now being able to punch Echo a little bit here in the 13th minute of the game. They get the Lord, they take Yaoi down. This is a step in the right direction.
This is the equalizer, in a matter of fact. They will be able to get a lot of structural gold out from Echo's side, and that's going to even out the last 3.8 deficit that they were missing earlier. Echo, they literally just hit the 42k mark, so they literally just got their item power spike, and unfortunately they didn't force it onto Burn X Flash pre-Lord, and I think that's something they probably should have considered. But at the end of the day, this is not a make it or break it for Echo, because as we go to the later stages, Sanji, he is strong. Carl TZ is already naturally strong, but C-Cat, he's catching up quick. And let's not forget that Donut is going for Weapon Master, so in terms of scaling, he can actually get to a point where he is compatible against someone like Benny QT on a Claude.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to work with, right? Because usually when we see Brody on the killing spree.
Yep.
So, Carl TZ.
Easy. Doesn't seem like he's gonna be too faulted about the fact that Burn X Flash wants his skin. But he does have a lot of charges, and he did manage to melt down D7. That's all of the stacks that this Diggy have lost. And that is really unfortunate.
Yeah, Carl TZ is going damage, right? We see Endless Battle, we see Hunter Strike as well. Is this a safe thing to go for? I mean, they did just get a pick off.
I mean, it's going to get more and more volatile as the game goes on, right? Let's look at the item builds one more time, because in terms of just raw power and raw damage, we're noticing that both Samford and as well as Cartesi have the same goal in mind. Try to have a lot of kill threat to kill either D7 or force out his ult. And if they can get any resources with the kill threat because of the item builds that they have, that's great for them. It makes people's jobs easier, especially for Betty QD, who wants to go in, but can't as long as those two ultimates are in play. If not, 3 ultimates in play, including the real world manipulation.
4.4 gold lead right now here for the side of Echo. There's not a lot of action going around because, of course, there isn't too much of an objective take to go for, but it really depends on these side lanes, right? How are they going to manipulate it? How are they going to set up for this next Lord? I think that's going to be very important coming to the next few seconds of the game.
I would really have hoped that Burn X Flash was able to make a little bit more use, or rather get more value out of the Lord. Naturally, first Lord equals to, you would want to have all the outer turrets destroyed. But unfortunately, that Lord only amounted to 2.
I mean, at the end of the day, whether it's 2 or 1, you're still coming up close towards the ultra-late stages, or at the very least the later stages of the game, which is more than enough, right? Because, look, the side lane is already gone. You still want to contest for this upcoming neutral objectives. The Lord spawns again, and this can basically guarantee you an inhibitor turret. It's difficult for Donut to walk up.
ATM rushes himself right in the face of Echo. Sanji's HP not looking well, but he survived, or rather barely breathing, to be honest. ATM is still holding down to the front. He is still very beefy. Shamar is waiting on the side and waiting for the perfect opportunity to run right in. Yaoi, the airline's coming in. He crashes onto ATM. This puts Yaoi in not a very good spot. As such, Donut takes the kill onto Yaoi. We focus onto Shamar now. He's holding on to 2. ATM flickers in. Gets a taunt onto 2. Kaltizi going down. Immortality broken. And now another taunt to put on top of him. Donut getting himself the killing spree. And now finally Sanji joins in the fray after healing, only to find himself sacrificing himself or throwing himself, feeding over to the fire. The Orcas are getting scalded. And Betty Cutie pulls right back by the reverse time. And Sanford finds himself absolutely demolished.
The Orcas get wiped out here in the 17th minute of the game. This is not looking good at all. Tama is going to be able to get this Lord uncontested. And finally, Burn X Flash, they are striking back.
Can't disrespect the Brody with Weapon Master. He scales so much harder than you believe. When he gets his 4th item, that's a lot more numbers compared to if he had Killing Spree, in addition to the emblems that he has. And now they're looking to try and end this.
This is amazing as C-Cat drops the RWM. He keeps Kaltizi inside. Sanjin's completely going to be pushed away by the rest of the BXF. Focus on the throne. We get the first win from Burn X Flash.
A 1-1 right now here between both of these teams. Neither want to go down without a fight. it really went down to the last second for Burnex Flash, where they were able to build onto their momentum, work with what they got, and Echo, they're forced to game 3.
Not exactly the best position to be in, but you definitely see that the holes in the draft really started to bite them towards the end. One critical moment, one critical mistake was all it takes to push this Jenga tower down. Unfortunately, I would have imagined that maybe that Benedetta would have been great, picked up a little bit earlier into the draft, but it just shows that Burnex Flash, their homework is complete. Their research it covers such a wide range of the hero pool of Echo.
I agree with that. With Sanford being forced on the Paquito, with what we see Yaoi on the Matilda, these are 2 picks that are new to Echo here at MSC, and unfortunately still sitting at a 0% win rate. LaFell, my guy, what happened there?
My dudes. Looking at the camera, we see Burnex Flash. They're doing this. You know what this means?
No.
Goosebumps. They're feeling goosebumps, right? Because they're like, yo, guys, feel my arms. My hair is rising because I gotta say, Donut looked like a bagel just now because he looked like a Brody with Inspire. He was moving so fast. Like, I don't know, man. This Donut is the fastest Donut I've ever seen. To be fair, I've not seen a lot of fast Donuts.
He is quick. His positioning is incredible, and I think overall it's just underestimating the emblem of Weapon Master on a Brody, because again, it's not a very common way to actually build Brody, because it takes quite a while before you feel like he's actually doing something, and half the time you would imagine that Brody's early game would be better.
You know what? I understand now. I completely understand why he's called Donut. Because he's putting a hole into everyone. Look at the heroes he's using. The Leslie, the Brody. He finds the hole and he puts his damage through it. You know what I mean?
Everybody is a target. He just needs to hit right through the center.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Gideon. This is why he got the title of best friend.
Come on, guys, keep up.
I'm keeping up.
You want to be in the highest best friend? You want #1 in best friend moniker? It's not that easy to get, because let's look at the fight, right? A lot of these times you notice that, again, it's really, really difficult because Chima decided to itemize in a way that kind of keeps him nice and beefy. And because of that, he's not really threatened. He can hold on to his ult for as long as he wants, and so many resources and so many people must commit on top of him to make it work. Unfortunately, for people like Sanford, he can't really threaten him. Even Carltese, as far ahead as he was looking more towards Diggy than he was the Bane.
Look at that. Donut is moving so fast. I kind of felt like he was using a Joe. He was using the Matilda because of that movement speed. But speaking of those 2 heroes, I got to talk about ATM on the Fredrin as well as Yaoi on the Matilda. But since we're here looking at the page, Fredrin on the, ATM on the Fredrin, what do you think, Abstract?
Honestly, he's a beast.
He's a beast.
He has been holding off the lane for the longest time ever and pretty much keeping Sanford in the lane, even though Sanford is playing as a Paquito. I personally would expect that Paquito would have that good amount of damage and he will be able to clear the way fast enough in order for him to start moving around. But one thing's for sure, ATM, he does whatever that he can to stay alive, especially picking up the Dreadnought armor, and that means that it's just going to stay alive and just bring down the damage of this Paquito.
Looks like that's enough. He didn't even finish it into an anti-crash. It's just like, you know what? Dreadnought armor is enough.
The robe too.
Yeah, the magic robe as well is enough to deal with a lot of the magic damage. Now we're going to look at Sanford here. It's amazing to see. He has 3 damaging items here, Gideon, and the Dreadnought armor is enough.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because at the end of the day, it's the but the Guardian's helmet coming in that gives us a lot of base health, right? And when you have that many stats, you don't have enough burst to realistically take him down unless Sanford was able to get a lead in the lane, which he absolutely didn't. ATM played that perfectly. He sandbagged him till Kingdom Come, and unfortunately for Sanford, he was just happy to exist half the time in that lane. The only thing that he's got working for him is the movement speed he gets off of his passive when he's in that champion stance to try to get to the fight or into a flank position faster.
So can we talk about this? Because if we're looking at teamfight participation, only 11% for Sanford. I'm pretty sure he participated, but the fight that he participates in, doesn't result in a kill.
Yep, because again, he's trying to look to threaten people with his damage to get ultimates out. And D7 is a prime target. Low base health, not a lot of defensive items. And then we look at Chima, who has by far one of the more important ultimates, but he's building full tank, and he can barely feel it.
Okay,